When it comes to contour, highlight, bronzing, everything that I like to do with the skin, I have changed and flipped. I used to use so much product, the wrong colors. I used to be so into getting what other people had, and now I have just been doing what I like to do for my face. For today's celebrity makeup artist approach 2 video, I'm going to show you what I've learned from all of these celebrity makeup artists that I attend their classes from. I'm going to show you how I get my face sculpted, defined, and ready for contour, highlight, and glow, essentially.
Oh lady, follow your nature, but don't try to tame.
I like to use a more skin-like foundation, not a ton of coverage, or if it does have a lot of coverage, like a full coverage foundation, I would like it to be medium to full, and I would want to build it up in areas where I want it. So I'm going to be using a beauty blender today, and I'm using the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Creme. This is an amazing foundation that I was put onto, and I really love it. So I just go directly in with the sponge. So when I contour, I like my face to look a little more elongated because I do have a round face. I like to use concealer that covers and acts as my highlight, so I don't have to go on with so many products. So I've been using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is a really good one. I love the applicator. I love the formula. It sits on my skin really nicely, and I'm just going to really apply it. That's like a little too much right there. That's okay. So I'm just going to apply it right in there. By applying the concealer directly right in there, it's going to take care of the bags. I also like to go down the nose, around the nose. I have not dipped back into the concealer, by the way. And that's primarily where I will focus the concealer. So with that same sponge, it's dampened, by the way. All you do is just wet it with water, wring it out, and just make sure when you squeeze it, no water comes out of it. So I like to start on the nose, and I'm not applying a ton of pressure, so that way it maintains the coverage there. I also like to go into the creases of the nose really well because I do break up. That's like the first place. The mouth and around the nose is where I'll start to break up with foundation and stuff. And now for the eyes. So I'm just going to focus and concentrate the sponge right on top. And again, I'm not going to bring it all the way up yet. I'm going to bring it downwards because I'm trying to create a longer face. Also bring it to the sides of the nose and in the corner. If you have shadowing in the corner of your eye, bringing your concealer up and into the lid is going to help get rid of that shadow. So I have a shadow here. So if I bring the sponge with the concealer up and into the lid, it helps get rid of that shadow. So that would be considered my version of the highlighting. So let's jump into contour. So when I'm contouring, sometimes I'll use cream, sometimes I will just use powder. So I'll show you both so you can kind of see what it looks like. It pretty much gives you the same effect at the end. It just depends on how long you want your contour to last. So the first thing I like to do, and I'll do it on this side of my face, is I will take a cream contour stick. I have the Fenty Beauty Truffle Match Stick. This is a really good contour stick. I love the way that it applies. At first, I felt that it was a little drying, but after using it, it's softened and it works really well. It's also really dark, so if you want that deep contour, this is a really good one. If you are my skin tone color, maybe a tad bit darker, this would be a really good color. And I'm yellow undertone and tan, so pretty much that one. Or if you want a more affordable one that I equally love, I have the Jordana Sculpting Go Creamy Contour Stick. Looks like that, and it's much bigger, but it pretty much gives me the same thing. So let me swatch it so you can kind of see the colors. This is Jordana and this is Fenty Beauty. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty because I know a lot of people might have this. So when I'm contouring my face, again, I want it to look elongated. So I will suck in my cheeks. That is where I want to apply the contour, but I don't go all the way down anymore. I used to go like down and swoop up, and it just, I don't know what I was thinking. So I'll show you how I do it.
Watch this.
So as you can see, I applied it and I stopped mid, and then I applied a little bit up in here so that way it blends from the temples. And I also started at the hairline. So if you see where my ear starts, that's exactly where I went. My jaw, because I want to chisel my jaw out, and also my forehead. Just going to stick the sponge, and then I'm doing sort of like a swipe rolling motion. And this is just going to lightly blend it so that way it kind of fades and there's no line. Because in the past, I've done contour where it's like white in here and then it's like dark. So I want to get rid of that line. So I just want to take my time and work it into the skin and blend it. I like to make sure I go down. Don't go up when you're blending the jaw contour out. Go down into the neck, because this is also going to create a line in here, so it makes your neck look sharper and more chiseled. And then when I blend out the cheek, I press and roll to get the initial line. And if you have to suck in your cheeks, suck it in. And then use the butt to erase and diffuse the lines. So when I'm using a powder contour, I really like to use the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is pretty pricey, but I wanted it because I wanted a more natural looking contour, and I felt like this gave it to me. This got really good feedback, so I decided to go ahead and get it, and I love it. So I like to use this NYX brush. It's just a very small brush, so it sculpts and gets right into the area where I need it. Usually what I'll do is I will just do that. And if you see me tapping all the time, I'm just tapping the color on the back of my hand so that way it, diffuses it and packs it in. Do the same thing with the stick. I just suck my cheek in and just apply it. When I'm applying this powder or any powder, I don't swirl or buff anymore because I felt like it was transferring the product in areas where I didn't need it. And if you're trying to contour and sculpt your face, you don't want that. Applying the brush, if you can see, the end and edge is laying where I want it to be, and I'm gently dragging up with a light hand. I'm not pushing into the skin, I'm just dragging it up to the temple and the ear, into the hairline. So then the forehead. This bronzer is actually a really good color for my skin tone. This is the medium dark shade. So this is, I believe, the last shade. She doesn't really have a ton of ranges, but I can say for every complexion product that I've purchased from Charlotte Tilbury, it's an exact match. And a tip I have for you is if you have a round face, you want to elongate, I like to take powder. I can sometimes do it with contour, like the cream contour stick, but I just take the powder, I look straight into the mirror, and I apply a little bit of the contour right in there. If I apply it right in here, it's going to give the illusion that my face, well, I basically have no fat there. So I want to apply it there, and then I know you're probably like, but Kalei, it's gonna look dark. Blend it out. So I'm just gonna apply it on both sides so you can see. I like to apply it right in there and pull it back, and I just diffuse it. And this is going to make it look like it's not even there. It's going to take away some of the application, but still keep that shadow. And that's just a trick I have. Also, you can go underneath your neck. Using this Becca Under Eyes Brightening Setting Powder. It's actually really good. It's very cooling. So I'll show you how I set using a sponge and a brush. So we'll do sponge on this side. So I just basically lightly dab. Usually I will use Laura Mercier's Translucent Loose Setting Powder or Airspun, but I ran out of both. So we're just gonna use this one. So that's how I would set this side of my face using a sponge. The lighter approach, if I want to spot set and not use so much product, is I would use just a brush. And I just basically take the product onto the brush and I just tap it on the back of my wrist to build it up. Now this method you will have to touch up a little bit more often depending on your skin type, but it's a lighter look and it doesn't look super powdery. sponge and brush. So for blush, I like a nice peachy color. I'm not really into a ton of pink colors. There are a few mauvey colors that I like. JCat Beauty has this really nice blush palette. This is a mauvey blush palette. And it has like a bunch of pinky tone colors. It's very affordable. I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna mix it with that one. This big Juno & Co brush. This is the ES02. They're very affordable brushes. Super nice. I love the way that they apply makeup. In the past, I used to apply the blush here. And I'm trying to make my face look a little more slimmer, a little less round. So I found that applying it in here instead of here brought the eye in the center. So that's what you want to do. So I'm just going to pat it on right in there. Now for my nose, I have a separate product that I like to use. I didn't think this product would actually work for me, but then when I tried it, I was like so amazed. This is from Shiseido. This is the Cocoa Dusk 07. It's an inner glow and cheek powder. Brush I like to use for my nose contour is actually one of the brushes that come in my Profusion kit, and it just looks like this. It's just a straight edged brush, and it makes my nose contour easy. And all I do is I take it from the brow down because I'm just trying to create a shadow. I'm not trying to make harsh lines. I just want a shadow. And I found that looking directly into a mirror and down is going to help me get that shape. The goal is to lightly contour the nose and build up if you need it. But I found that bringing it up into the brow makes my nose look a little more elongated. And then I'll take a little color underneath the nose. If I want to intensify my nose contour, I just take like a blending brush. This is also from NYX. Just a little bit of that powder. And I just lightly blend. I learned this trick from Charlotte Tilbury. I just like the way that this color looks on me, but I've also used the Film Star. I'll take a little bit of this color into the socket of the eye as well. And this is going to contour the lid. And I also like to take it underneath to make my eyes look a little bit bigger. So you just contour underneath. I will add shadow there, but I just like to do that process. I like to build my highlighters and illuminators. Sometimes I'll use cream, sometimes I'll use liquid, sometimes I'll use powder. Today I'm just going to use powder, but all the techniques kind of apply the same, just blend it out. So today I'm going to be using Laura Mercier's Addiction. This is one of my favorite illuminators. It's this gold color. I'm going to use this for my nose. So what I'll do is just take my finger and I'm just going to apply it right in here. And this is going to make that bridge part kind of pop out a little bit because I find that I have no bridge there. So I have to make one. And I also like to take the color on the side of my nose rather than the tip. So it's going to make its way to the tip eventually, but I focus more of the color on the side. So when I turn my head, hopefully you can see there's a little glow there. So it looks a little more natural rather than just going straight down with a stripe. Then I will take a fan brush. This is also by Laura Mercier. It's the fan powder brush. And I just take a little bit of that color. Wherever the light hits, that's where I'm going to apply it. So definitely right in here. I don't want to take it too far in here because then I'll look oily. So I'm just going to keep it right up here. I also like to take it a little further up.
Only one thing left to do.
Watch this.
A little bit on the chin. I don't want to hit that little friend I have. Next thing, I'll take the highlight from Charlotte Tilbury. This is more of a peachy color. I told you I like to mix my highlights. And I'm just going to apply that right on top. This is just going to give a variation in color because I like a wet look. This is a Glowy Gossamer Duo. It's in Delicate Dew, and it's probably the best drugstore highlight for that wet look if that's what you're looking for. The camera's not even picking it up. It is so pretty. I use this shade here, and I apply it only on the tops of the cheeks, but it gives me that wet kind of look that I love. I can just really quickly apply this on the sides of my nose because again, it's more wet. Now, usually I will stop right here. This is like perfect look that I like when I'm getting the glow, but if I want to take it an extra step, this is just if you want to be like a little oomph to the skin, you can take Laura Mercier's new powders. These are the translucent loose powder glow powders. I have both colors. I have translucent and then I have translucent medium deep, and I just basically apply a little into the cap. And then I take the brush. They have a brush that comes with it, and it's just perfection because it hugs all the areas that you want. So I just coat the brush, and then on the back of my wrist, I just kind of press it so that way I have any fallout or extra product because it is loose, so it's going to get everywhere. And then I will apply this to like the cheekbones, also the temples. This is if you want to look extra, you guys, extra. But you don't have to do this. And it just gives a luminosity to the skin. This is the medium deep shade. I go all over the face. Technically, you're not supposed to, but I just think it makes my skin, it's not like glittery, and it's also not super shimmery. It's just the right amount of glow. So that is how I contour and highlight and bronze and glow and just make my skin look the way it does whenever I take pictures for Instagram, my blog. If you're interested in seeing more celebrity makeup artists approach to videos, link your comments down below on suggestions and then I'll work on those for you. I don't really do these very often because I'm always learning different techniques and tips on them, which is why they come not so often, but I do have fun doing these in-depth tutorials. So thank you so much for taking time to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Love yous. Bye.
Left to do. Watch this.